For more, let's bring in Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy. Thank you very much, Senator, for joining the Sunday briefing. Pleasure to have you this morning, sir. Does President Trump, in your mind, Senator, need to come up with a different go-to line when he talks about affordability on this messaging tour?
Jackie, you don't need to be Euclid to figure this out. A few years ago, we had 9% inflation. Prices were going up 9% a year. That inflation didn't originate in a bat. It was man-made, and that man's name is Joe Biden. President Biden was an inflation machine. Now, since then, the Trump administration, Republicans in Congress, and the Federal Reserve have gotten inflation down from 9% to 3%. So things are better, but they're not well. The truth is there are limited things that the executive branch can do. Only Congress can solve this problem. Health care is another issue. We need to reform the Obamacare. We need to go to site neutrality. We need PBM reform. There are a whole host of things we can do, and if I could do them on my own, I would, but I don't have control of the floor. And I have been preaching to my colleagues in the Senate for months now that we need to do another reconciliation bill. And I'm going to chase them like they stole Christmas until they agree with me. I don't know why we're sitting here doing nothing. I don't think the coalition is falling apart. I think that when the American people speak, you better listen to them. And I think that we need, the President and the United States Senate, need to be working on things that moms and dads worry about when they lie down to sleep at night and can't. And one of the things is the cost of living. And what I'm telling you is there are things we can do that the President can't do, but in order to do it, the United States Senate has to get up off its ice-cold, lazy butt. And you can't use the excuse, well, the Democrats won't go along with it. Of course they won't. But we don't need their votes. We can do it through reconciliation with a simple Republican majority. We need to do a health care bill as part of reconciliation. We need to invite the Democrats to join with us, and a few might, but most of them won't because they don't want to solve the problem. They want to maintain it as an issue in the elections. That doesn't mean we ought to do nothing.
Can you do that, though, before the premiums go up? Can you get that done before people start having letters in the mail that say, I'm going to be paying, double what I was paying before, and looking around and saying, whose fault is this?
No, and that's the Democrats' fault. They shut down government.
Yeah.
We should have been doing this, talking about this back in October.
Welcome back, guys. Senator John Kennedy always finds a way to speak in a style that feels direct, simple, and sharp. And this interview is another example of that. So let's talk honestly about what he said, what it means, and how the American audience is reacting to this movement. Because whether people agree or disagree with him, the topic he touched are real issues for millions of Americans right now. Kennedy starts by going straight at the affordability crisis, and this is something people across the country feel every single day, whether you are buying groceries, paying rent, putting fuel in your car, or simply trying to keep up with monthly bills. He calls President Joe Biden an inflation machine, saying Biden's policies created the rise in inflation that Americans struggle with. And even though inflation came down from 9% to around 3%, Kennedy gives the credit to Trump Republicans in Congress and the Federal Reserve. According to him, things have improved, but not enough. People still don't feel relief, and in his words, things are not well. This is a point that many Americans agree with. Sure, the members show improvement, but it doesn't mean much if a family is still struggling to buy groceries, or if rent is still taking half of pay cash. That emotional connection where economic members meet real life comes across strongly in Kennedy's tone. He wants the audience to feel that Washington is not doing enough and that current leadership has not fixed the core problems. Kennedy then shifts to Congress, especially the US Senate. He argues that only the Senate can truly fix affordability and inflation, not the president alone, not the Federal Reserve alone, not the private sector alone. He talks about passing more bills under reconciliation, meaning Republicans can push legislation through without needing Democratic support. According to him, they have done one big reconciliation bill before, and now he wants to do another one. He even jokes that he will chase them like they stole Christmas to get it down, to get it done. This is classy Kennedy humor mixed with political pressure. He mentions over 200 proposed changes to the tax code. These changes, in his view, are designed to boost the economy, encourage growth, and help ordinary Americans to keep more of their money. He also brings up a housing bill that he believes would reduce housing costs, which is another major issue across the United States as home prices continues to rise. From there, Kennedy dives into healthcare, and this part is interesting because he frames it as something Democrats never seriously tried to fix. He talks about reforming Obamacare, making prices equal across different medical sites, and reforming PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers, which many Americans may not even know are part of the reason prescription drug prices stay high. Kennedy argues that Republicans want to fix healthcare and that Democrats only keep the issue alive for elections. According to him, they never solved it when they had the chance, and his spectacle they will join now. He also says he wants healthcare reform included in the reconciliation bill. He invites Democrats to participate, but he says straight up that he doesn't expect them to. He believes Republicans need to take the lead. Then Kennedy reacts to a poll that says some Trump voters blame Trump for the affordability crisis. He doesn't deny it or push back harshly. Instead, he says something that many Americans probably appreciate: leaders should listen to the people. If people are hurting, if they are frustrated, if they feel their lives are getting tougher, politicians should not lecture them. They should hear them, and Kennedy strongly emphasizes that the priority must be the daily survival concerns of ordinary Americans. This part of the interview has a tone that feels grounded. He's saying, look, forget the politics. People are struggling. And that message is powerful because it matches what many families feel right now. At the end of the interview, Kennedy turns to immigration and talks about something called Operation Catahula Crunch in New Orleans. According to him, the operation focuses on enforcing immigration law, something he believes local politicians and some media outlets don't support. He calls them woke, and he especially criticizes WWL Radio, which he claims is owned by Giorgio Soros. Whether that claim is accurate or not, it shows how Kennedy sees the divide: people who enforce the law and people who don't want to. Kennedy repeats a very simple line: illegal immigration is illegal, and no matter where you stand on the political spectrum, that's a message that resonates strongly with some Americans and frustrates others. It's a national debate that has been going on for years, and his comments fit perfectly into the larger Republican message about border security, law enforcement, and immigration reform. Overall, Kennedy's interview touches everything: inflation, taxes, Congress, healthcare, public frustration, and immigration. Whether someone agrees with him or not, he knows how to frame an issue in a way that feels straightforward and emotional. He uses humor, frustration, and real life examples to make his points. And for many Americans watching, especially those struggling financially, these issues are not abstract political debates, they are everyday life. The key question is the key question his interview leaves us with is: will Congress actually act? Will there be another reconciliation bill? Will Republicans push through tax, healthcare, and housing reforms? And will Democrats join or fight it? The political battle ahead will decide whether these ideas stay as talking points or actually turn into real change. And that's exactly why this interview is getting attention, because in a moment when Americans feel the pressure or high prices, political promises sound different. They should urgent. They sound urgent. And how I want to hear from you now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about Senator Kennedy's comments? Drop your thoughts below, and I will see you in the next video.